my goodness. So I guess it's only showing. Oh, do you see me? Goodness. So I guess it's only showing. Oh, do you see me? All right, hold on. Let me get off of the one on my computer. Okay.
Yeah, I can plug this into my phone, and so we don't get that echo. You look beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I I don't have my tripod with me because I was thinking I could do this from my computer, but
yeah, me too.
Apparently it's not letting me. Like I don't have those icons on the computer. Well, I don't know if I can plug this into my phone.
I don't either. I'm not sure if I have to do something else. But it's official.
Let's see if we can get this to work. There's a little bit of a these need to charge, so okay. Yeah, but I had the headphones that I got specifically for the computer, which I can't use now, so it's okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So, but it's good to be here. I'm glad we finally got it working.
I am too. All right. Oh, I just lost you. Oh, no. Okay, that icon there. Add. Into my camera. Yes. Add. If you're watching live or you're watching the replay, thanks for your patience. We're just learning how to do this.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Clicked on the wrong thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you want to do the honors?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So this is my friend Janae Lee Young. She's a wonderful, talented author and a loving mother, and just fantastic with hiking and body and mind wellness. She does many other things, but we met. We have a lot in common. We met in Shanda's writing group, and we wanted to do something together. So Janae had this great idea to come on here and do lives together and start just sharing a little bit about us and hopefully helping in the process and just reminding that there's a lot of good still out there. We can de-stress, and it doesn't have to be a really formal production. So I hope that you like it. Janae, take it away.
Thank you. And I'm glad to be here. And to be fair, it was our idea. I think that we have both kind of been on the same wavelength for a while and wanting to work together for a while on something, but timing just hasn't been right. So finally, and then also there were like things that we kind of put out there that was like, no, it doesn't feel like what we really want to do. And then when we were talking and Elicia was like, I really think it should just be really positive. And, you know, because we could go off on tangents about all kinds of things, but if the spin on it is how can we look at it from a positive point of view, or how can we use it to propel us into forward movement and doing something that's great for us and for people around us, then that should be where we go, and not taking things on kind of a negative look or outlook. So, because I think we both deal with some heavy topics, you know.
Yeah.
Alicia's book is amazing, and you know, my personal experience was that hers came out right around the time that my daughter was having really bad anxiety issues, and she was going to therapy. And I won't say too much about it because, you know, I don't want to do her story unless she approves of it. But I gave that book to my daughter as a gift, and it really was very helpful, you know, for what she needed. And because Alicia just really comes from understanding mental health and mental health issues and crises and all the different things that come with that. Do I take medication? Do I not take medication? And, and then all the stuff that you feel as a person dealing with those types of things. So, yeah, so I'm happy to be here to do this with Elicia because I think we both strongly believe that the world needs more positivity, but sometimes just being positive isn't enough. Seeing it implemented and really learning the steps to implement positive right action is really important, because it's just those little things that you can do every day that become weekly things, that become monthly things, and all of a sudden you look back a couple of years and your whole life has changed because of those little steps.
Absolutely. I love that. I can't think of who said it, but I really like the quote that says, the books that you read now are who you will become, like who you will be in 5 years.
Yeah.
And that was kind of true for me because I went from, reading suspense and mystery to self-help, self-help and emotional intelligence and all of that. And I was just on that kick for quite a while. And when I found you and saw what you were doing, and you have so much knowledge on just like the brain in general, you just surpass me. So I can learn a lot from you in that way. And also, I have tried to get into like exercise routines and such, and it's so difficult. When I was going to 9 rounds, that was like the only time I was consistent, and I loved it. But I don't have 9 rounds anymore. But I have some equipment, and I was trying to use that. And then, as some of you know, I had surgery on my feet. So that slowed me down a bit. And then my family, my in-laws and my husband and I, we went to Mexico. And we were so active while we were in Mexico. Like we were walking everywhere, and it was, especially in the airports, having to go up all those stairs and everything. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm getting winded. But having that experience, like, it allowed me to kind of get that momentum going.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little feedback. Okay,
Just
appreciate that. So now I just need to get it going again, because when we came home, Chris got sick, and then I got sick, and now I'm recovering. So yeah, I think talking with you more often and everything's going to help me build my momentum, just like your nature immersion workbook. I did this once upon a time in a notebook because I didn't want to write in the pretty pages. And I definitely need to do it again because here in Michigan, it's still kind of cold. The weather doesn't know what it wants to do. So I definitely want to get back into these just simple, just walking and being able to track, the distance or the time. And I believe on one of your videos, you're walking for weight loss on Monday, I asked what your thoughts were on exercise bikes.
yes,
Because
yes,
I was
that,
starting to use that and it wasn't hurting my foot.
Oh, that's
so I don't know
great.
if you want to say a little bit about that.
Oh no, I mean, I think exercise bikes are great. I have a pedal. I don't know if I can get it here under my desk. And I will, it's just a really simple little pedal. And I will use that, like if I have many days at work where I just have meetings. Like I have these back-to-back meetings, and it's like all I can do is get up to use the restroom before the next one starts, And so I'll have that pedal and I'll use it. It's just a very low-impact way of keeping your body moving. It does help to keep your heart rate up, but if you're using like an actual bike, you can get much more of a workout with that than you can like on this little pedal, which is really great. My only thing about bikes is that you're still sitting at some point.
Yeah.
But if you have an actual, I guess depending on the kinds you have, you can stand up, So, but, I think bikes are great too. I just love walking and hiking, so that will always be like my go-to. But I know a lot of people who've had success with cycling. It's really, really good for them. And my own experience as far as like we were talking about when you were really active and consistent, the same thing with me. I was going to this gym called Train 615, and it was a group hit workout. So we would all go in, and there were, there could be 5, there could be 3 people, but sometimes there was as many as 10, and we all had our little spaces, and we would go through all these different exercises. And then there was a trainer, and he was, talking you through it. And then his girlfriend was I guess she was the co-owner, but she worked at the front desk. And then afterwards you could talk and chit chat about, your eating habits and things like that. And it was really great because it was a community. I was going in sometimes twice a day when I could do it, but definitely at least, 4 to 5 times a week. I was getting a really great workout, but then I was also getting that feedback, and I don't have that here. Like, the gym here is really not that great. And I really like the group classes. I don't just like to go in and use a machine and, with my headphones on. So, and then, with my job, I've had, some days I start working at 6:30 in the morning. And so, that's my workout time before so things have been crazy, and I'm going through the change. So, the big M has hit me, perimenopause, and that's caused me, some issues there as well, just with general energy and mood and all of that. And then hormones are up and down. So I've gained weight. And, but I think the most important thing that I've found is that through all of that, just to keep doing something every day, whether it's walking or just finding a 30-minute video to follow on YouTube and go with that. I have two women that I follow pretty regularly on YouTube, and and then just trying to keep a routine going, because it's not just about my physical body, but it goes into my mental health. Like, if I'm not doing those things, then I start feeling bad about myself, and then it becomes a cycle. It just kind of keeps spiraling from there. And then when I start feeling bad about myself, then I start making unhealthy food choices, and it just all, one after the other. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I had a bag of chips for lunch today. Great.
Well, moderation.
Yeah.
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 This is nice. This is nice. So Janae has the woods and like the mountains so close to her. So I envy that. I think that's awesome. I'm in the city, so looking out my window, I could see 2 of my neighbors' houses right now. So when the weather permits, what my nice little oasis and getaway is going into the backyard, sitting on my swing with a hammock chair, trying to work in my garden. I started a garden. It's not the most beautiful thing.
Down,
Yes. So there's definitely a learning curve to that. And when I finish school, I'm looking forward to actually being able to learn it the right way, so it starts doing what I want it to do.
Yeah. Gardening is not easy. I mean, people say like, oh, you just plant it in the ground and water it and it's fine. It's like, no, it's not that easy. I mean, yes, but then at the same time, it's like certain plants like certain types of weather. And then if it's too moist and they're not getting enough sun to dry it out, you can develop a fungus or a mold. And then there are critters. I had this beautiful pumpkin patch, and I was so excited. I had so many pumpkins, and they got destroyed by what are they called? Vine borers. So these are like flies that will lay their larvae, their eggs in the soil, and then it will get inside the vine of the pumpkins.
Oh
and then they will
my.
hatch out and they will eat the inside of the vine, which then kills the vine and eventually kills the pumpkins. So I didn't know any of that. So,
Near
and then there were also
I.
the thing called the squash bug that will eat
Mm.
the leaves and the vines on the outside of the pumpkins. And I had no idea. So I would see these bugs, these flies, and just thinking, oh, that's just nature. Look at those pretty cute little white flying things. I didn't have butterflies, they were insects, but I was just trying to be all one with nature and it killed my plants. So
Oh.
yeah, so it takes time. I think I went to a conference last year and they said it takes about 2 years
Okay.
of when you first start to really figure out what works for you, what doesn't work, and you have to figure out what grows well in your area and what doesn't, and what you like to grow. You might
Mm-hmm.
find that you love growing flowers and edible herbs and things like that, but it's too time consuming to grow vegetables or something like that. So you just have to
Yeah.
figure out what works, really well for you. Yeah.
Well, I
So, but
appreciate that. It's good to know.
you have some nice mountain, right? There's mountains in Michigan. Or am I thinking Missouri?
We have the pictured rocks.
Yeah.
I did that, and that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is like 5 hours away from me.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're just like right in the middle of the city. Yeah. It's like when I lived in Florida, people like, oh, we've got the beach. And it's like, that is the only nature we have. We have nothing else in South Florida. It's all city.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you can do your walks around your neighborhood if you feel comfortable doing that.
Mhm.
When I first started walking, I walked in my neighborhood and then I would walk at the park and I would just get up early and go walk at the park. And I've done that here a couple of times. The Duck River is close by where I live, and I've gotten
Mhm.
out there early enough, where I could go get a good 4 laps in, which is about 3 miles. No,
Oh
take it
wow.
back, 2.5 miles. And then get home and get working. But um, last week that did not happen.
Yeah, you
But,
had a busy
yeah,
week. So did I. We
we're
both had a
both
busy week, which
so
is
busy. Yeah.
why we're trying to do something just kind of small, low
Hmm.
maintenance, at least to start and
Yeah.
see how that works
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. And then, anyone
Yeah.
who's watching, if you have any questions or topics that you would like addressed, whether it's mental health or physical fitness or, how do you manage a workout schedule with children, whatever it is,
Mhm.
let us know, because then we can incorporate that in our next live, because that would be great to hear from you guys and get your feedback on things. Yeah.
Agreed. And I'm going to start inviting more people to the group. Right now, we pretty much just have the people in Aneta's group who I've been working with in her coaching program, and yourself and like Nathan with that. So we'll have more people and hopefully more feedback so we know what they want to hear about. For me, I'm working on learning more about how to share my passion of
Mm-hmm.
personal growth to become a personal growth coach. So I'm starting to practice. So that's something that is near and dear to me, and something that's different for me than a lot of people apparently is because my decline in mental health is what got me to the personal growth path.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have just told me those things don't go together. I'm like, well, for me, they're hand in hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
in your journey, and I have your book. Hold on, I've got it. I'm like, where did I put it? But I see it. There it is. I know, I keep it close by.
I
Right
appreciate
there,
that.
yours. And the grace and openness with which you share your experience is so beautiful, because a lot of people who have gone through things, and myself included, can be very hesitant about saying I've had this issue,
Mm-hmm.
but there's nothing wrong with it. I think they say this in different programs, like the first step to recovery is to admit,
Mm-hmm.
admittance, and then you can accept, and then you can move on. And I just think it's amazing, your bravery of being able to share your story and have such a positive outlook of yourself and outlook of life. It really shows that, yeah, we all have issues. We all can go through challenging times,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not fun, because when you're dealing with something that's inside your mind, like, how do you fight that?
Right.
It's literally, it's not something that you can pick up or put down. It's there all the time.
Yeah.
So it's really encouraging to others to be able to just face it and kind of move forward and do what it takes, to get to the next step, whether that is, medication for some people. I mean, that is a viable solution to get you started, and then
Mm-hmm.
add in all of the other avenues as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Janae, and I'm really, really glad that it's helped your daughter and that you've come back to, different chapters a few times. It's kind of nice to hear you say about how sharing and being like open with it and knowing that, it's not a problem, because since writing that book, I have gone like back and forth on like how much I share online and such, because sometimes I'm like, I don't know, do I want to be an open book now, or do I want to be more private?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I feel like I've found a decent balance recently, where it's like, okay, you don't need to know everything, but the things that really made an impact and the things that others can, learn from and even are probably going through themselves, then I feel like that's worth sharing. And that needs a little more emphasis and in depth.
Yeah. Because it's true that there can be a stigma against it, about having, mental health issue. And then I think some of that is, over dramatization in the media, in movies and things like that. But really, in order to have a really fulfilling life, we all need to take a look inside ourselves and know what triggers us, what makes us happy, what makes us sad, and where those feelings come from, because then it affects our interactions with others. And, those interactions can then those mirror back to us. Those interactions with people, whether they're positive or negative, then it impacts us emotionally in one way or another. So it's very important to look at those things and not look at it, like, oh, there's something wrong with you. Well, yes, there's something wrong with all of us. We were all human and we were all imperfect. And, those of us who are dealing every day with anxiety and stress and things like that to a deeper level, it's really, really important that we take a look at that and figure out how we can move forward from that, and then share our stories with others so they can say, there's nothing wrong with me, this is an issue, I need to take care of it.
Yeah. And that's what's been rewarding, is even when it was just social media posts, I would get people private messaging me and saying that helps. They went and made an appointment, or they went to the gym, or they did this one thing that they've been putting off. And it's just to know, like, okay, I made this one post about what was going on, and 3 people, said that it was helpful, and that they started doing something for themselves.
Yeah.
So that's rewarding. I want to pass that on.
Yeah. And that's what it's about, mostly at the end of the day. It's um, helping. I don't want to make a grandiose statement, but it's helping heal people or heal the world or one one person at a time, because really that's how it's done. You know, nothing is ever going to change overnight, but if we can each individually, one person at a time, treat ourselves better, learn to love ourselves, then we can be more accepting of others, which then in turn will help them to treat themselves better, learn to love themselves, and then that can impact, you know, people within their circles. So
Absolutely. I was just thinking, like, I have a post-it note that I put on the bathroom mirror because I was starting to get like that negative chatter about like my mind, my body, my Hashimoto's and stuff. Like I feel like I'm so much bigger now.
Yep.
And kind of like you were saying, going through the change. And the last thing I have on that post-it note as a reminder is to affirm. And I feel like I've ignored that for quite a while, and my mind was doing the opposite. So I almost took it off. And then a couple of days ago, I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to pay attention to anything else on there, and I'm just going to affirm.
Would you talk more about that? What does that mean specifically, like for you, to affirm?
For me, I kind of take it from Rhonda Byrne's The Magic, where it talks about just thanking your body for what it is. So when I'm looking in the mirror and I affirm, what I'm doing there is very physical. Like I have kind eyes, and I'm healthy-ish. And I'm just saying those things, and like my hands allow me to create. So it's just like, I don't know, I say something different every time, but it's so much better than looking in the mirror and thinking or saying what I was before, like, wow, my back is really broken out, or wow, my waistline's gotten so much bigger. So it's like, oh, I have nice shiny hair and stuff. But a lot of the times my affirmations and like my self chatter is usually more like psychological and like emotionally inclined. So it's like, I help people and that feels good. I'm creative and I use my creativity to help others and to inspire. So that's like something that I would do outside of the mirror. But I'm just trying to bring that back because what you were just talking about was like, the one person at a time and self-love, and how it kind of just comes back to like your whole circle. And it just made me think of that post-it note that I almost put down because I was like, I'm not affirming in the right way.
I love that. I love that. That reminds me, there was when I was a teacher, I would do this meditation with my students. And what we would do is physically go through and like we touch our face and we say, I love my face. I love how smooth my skin is. I love my eyes. I have 2 eyes. I can see. And if they have glasses, they would say, my glasses help my eyes to see better. I love my nose. I can smell. I love my mouth. It helps me eat. And then they would name something that we eat. And of course, they'd be like hot dogs, French fries, pizza, whatever it was. And they loved it. And I did it once, I think, with their parents. And the parents were just like, they felt really good at the end of it. And then sometimes, one of the things that I've talked to with my own coach is she was like, when you're putting lotion on your skin, don't just slap it on. Take the time to appreciate your skin and your body. So I love that because that's something I've also have not done as much lately as I should be, because I have not been very happy with my body. And so, and that's a two-way street too, because if I'm not happy with my body, it's not going to perform for me the way I want it to, because it feels unloved and unappreciated.
Yeah. And that's really unexpected to hear from you. So it just shows that we all, go through these phases at times.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you
And it's
take
natural.
amazing
Yeah.
care of yourself.
Oh, well, thank you.
Of course.
It's a struggle. No, I should not use that word. It's not a struggle. It's a process.
Process. There you go.
So, yeah. Yeah. And it's hard because I have Hashimoto's too. So it's like that also just,
I did not know that.
yeah, it does what it wants sometimes. Sometimes it's like
Yeah.
up here and, like mine will have it where it acts up and then I lose all this weight and I can't control it. And then other times it does the opposite. And then sometimes it's just fine. It's just regular and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The fatigue is
Yeah.
what gets me the most.
Yeah.
The fatigue and the weight gain. So
Mhm. Yeah, it's hard. Because there's a lot of it that's just out of your control. And
Mhm.
I mean, not to the point of like, if you're keeping up a moderate, to what's the word? Too intense, heavy workout style, you can really keep it down, but then you can counteract the good of that by overdoing it because then you stress your body out. And then your body starts to feel stressed and it doesn't feel safe anymore. And for me, what my body does when it does feel stressed and unsafe, I want to get tired. And two, it wants to eat. Like it feels like it needs to input. It's trying to pull in what it needs from an outside source. So, yeah. So it's just like you said, it's balance. It's about balance.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing we have in common that I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's when you said Hashimoto's and you were like touching your neck, and I was like, "Yep, I get the rashes too."
Yeah. I
Yeah,
actually think it looks a lot smaller than usual.
I can't see it
now
at all right now, so that's
Yeah.
good. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'll get it, and mine will just come all up right same area right down there, and I'll, sometimes it'll spread to my chest too, and it's like, okay, you need to. And when it spreads that far, I know it's more than just the Hashimoto's; it's stress, which is triggering it. So yeah. So
Yeah. Who knows?
stress is real.
Maybe having that cold and resting so much cause just calm things down a bit.
Yeah, our bodies will do that. They will make us sick, so we have to stop. Take a break.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do it on your own, I'm going to make you do it.
Mm-hmm. And I told Chris that, my husband. He's very much go, 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 no nap. I'll rest when I'm dead. I'm like, no, that's not called resting, dear.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to stop. It is.
Yeah.
And it's very important. Well, it would be neat. I'm having an idea, if I may, to maybe talk about the next time some self-care practices and how that helps us or impacts us. Yeah.
I like that very much. And I was just going to say this has been great. I'm so glad we are finally able to figure it out so we could both be on screen at the same time. I'm thinking maybe we should wrap up. I still have some homework, and I'm sure you probably have some other things going on. But yeah, I look forward to doing this again. And again, we're just kind of keeping it informal, so we don't necessarily have a schedule yet.
Right.
But hopefully more and more people will see it and will appreciate what we're doing.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, and you have a great afternoon, and you're going to do really well on your homework.
Thank you. Appreciate it, and have a great afternoon as well.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Janae.